the Nuu G3 smartphone. For me on this channel, this is the best budget smartphone of 2018 so far. If you watch my review, you'll see why. At the moment, it's only available to the United States. You can pre-order at the moment. It's only $199, just under $200. And for what you get for that price is another reason why it's one of the best budget smartphones of 2018 so far. So the design, without question, is probably one of the better things on the smartphone. Front and rear glass body with a beautiful blue metal frame. Now the front glass around the edges does have a very, very slight curve to it, and at closer look, when you're swiping left or right, it can sort of seem as if the icons are bending around the corner like on the Elephone U Pro, but that's not the case. With the design of the glass, it can sort of look like that. There's no information on whether it's front or rear Gorilla Glass at all. Just says it's strong front and back glass. The way the light reflects off the front and the back with that striking blue colour is excellent. So it's a 5.7 inch display. The phone's not too big, it's a good size. It's 9mm thick, where some people probably think that's quite thick. But holding the phone, it's not as thick as you'd think. The front and the back are nice and curved, and it does sit in your hand rather well. So it's a 1440 by 720p HD plus display. 720p could put a few people off, but from what I've found, you can't really tell the difference, even looking really, really close. The pixels and stuff, they look sharp, the display looks sharp, and you forget you're using the 720p display smartphone. What you will notice on the smartphone is it's got a very, very thin black border around the edge of the display. That goes all around the smartphone. Even changing wallpaper, it's still the same, very, very slight. But it's got narrow bezels at the edge of the screen as well, and average top and bottom bezels too. At the top it does have LED notification, blinks a blue light when you've missed messages. You can't change the colour of the LED, but there are a few settings here which you can turn on or off for missed calls, messages, or low battery. Now, one feature in this smartphone which under $200 you do not see is NFC. If you turn that on, you can also use Google Pay. The Google Pay is the default payment method. Attach your card to it, and this is a fully functional feature on a $200 smartphone, which is absolutely amazing. I've never seen a smartphone under $200 with NFC. So this at the moment is available in the US, which should work with most US network providers out there. Here are the bands that are on this phone at the moment, the mobile data bands. Here in the UK, I'm on EE, and although I do get 4G in some places, I don't get 4G in the house anymore, where I used to with different types of phones. So hopefully with the European version that they're going to release soon and may be made available, then those bands will open up for 4G. I have got 4G in other areas of where I live, so there's not much of an issue there. So you can see here at the moment I have a 3G connection. I'll do a speed test for you here, just on 3G, just to see what we get. Okay, so that's a 3G connection here, and that is actually better than what I'm actually getting at the moment for home broadband. If I turn the Wi-Fi on and do another test on my Wi-Fi, that'd be worse than the 3G connection. So you go, that's 7 down and just over half a meg up. So obviously I'm sort of in a rural area, not sort of in a built-up area. When I'm closer to the aerials, I will get a 4G signal, but I'm quite far away. That's why I'm in the 3G range. Here are the bands again. EE use band 20, okay, which is not ticked on there unfortunately, for most of their 4K coverage. 800 megahertz, that is band 20. And 800 megahertz aerials can travel a long distance. This smartphone doesn't support band 20. If band 20 was on there, then EE would have 4G coverage. Now EE do operate on band 7, which is there. EE do operate on band 7 at 2600 megahertz, but those aerials are for short distances. So although band 7 is here and it's on this phone with EE, there's none of these aerials around where I live. When I go closer into built up areas, into cities and towns, then that's where I get my 4K coverage, and that's where I'm using the band 7 for EE 2600 megahertz. But EE does work 3G, phone calls, texts, but unfortunately band 20 is the main one you sort of need for 4K coverage throughout the UK. But hopefully Nuu release a European edition with band 20 enabled. So I tested the USB Type-C to 3.5mm headphone port. Plugs in rather easy, plug my headphones in, and the sound quality is just exactly the same it would be using a normal 3.5mm port. No sort of interference, no sort of loose connections, because I've tried wobbling the wires, so that connection works really well. So the Nuu G3 comes with a Helio P25 octa-core processor. This is clocked at 2.39 gigahertz, and gaming, as I'd expect, runs absolutely smooth, no drops of frames or lag at all. Playing one of my favourite games, Asphalt Extreme, which is quite a resource-hungry game, which any person would know. Bluetooth connectivity is obviously working as I'm playing this game with a Bluetooth controller, and very responsive as well. The display does go rather bright, as you can see here, and viewing angles are very good on this display as well. It also goes quite dim, but I have to download a third-party application for the evenings when reading the phone in bed, just to get that brightness down a little lower. No question about the display though on this smartphone. It is a cracking display, really nice. Okay, let's get on to the battery. This is a 3000 milliamp battery. I've noticed a couple of reviewers who have got around about 7 hours screen on time. Unfortunately, I didn't get that on all of my battery results. So if you check this screenshot out here, I had 1% left with a 7 minutes battery. This was at 6:06 in the evening, so still not really a full day. I had to put it on charge again. I was using maps mainly that day, navigating, WhatsApp, some Skype, and screen on time is 3 hours and 55 minutes. So not great. I'll just show you another day to compare. This was probably one of the better days. 1%, 7 minutes left again. WhatsApp, Chrome, Facebook, just general use. You can even see the hill going down there. There's no sort of plateaus where it levels out. It's just constantly draining. But that day I had 4 hours and 20 minutes, so a little bit better. And that was 5:40 in the evening. So still having to get my phone out and put it on charge again. I don't know how other people managed to get 7 hours screen on time. I don't know. Oh, let me just squeeze this in here, guys. You just see me say the battery life, the best I got was 4 hours and 20 minutes. Actually, in the process of using it today, if I go and check my battery usage now, I've still got 1 hour and 49 minutes left. It's at 17%, but my screen on time today is 5 hours and 9 minutes. So it is obviously a lot better than 4 hours 20. Estimated 1 hour 49 minutes left. The things I've been doing on the phone with the screen on is obviously not as much as what I was doing the previous days, where I was using quite a lot of Google navigation and maps where the screen would be on all the time but would be draining a lot faster. So it does depend on how you use the smartphone. Obviously everyone's different, but I have managed at the moment to get 5 hours and 9. I'm guessing it will probably hit the 6 hour mark, and then I'm probably going to have to charge it again depending on what I'm doing. But as you can see, look, Facebook is only 1%, WhatsApp is only 1%. So I haven't been doing a great deal when the screen has been on. So I think that's how other people have obviously managed to get a little bit more out of their battery, a little bit more juice, doing minimal stuff while the screen is on. So using the smartphone in normal use, navigating through the smartphone, very quick, very rapid, and I haven't really experienced any lag at all. It is a smooth, good experience. It also comes with gestures, as a lot of smartphones do now. You can swipe it down with 3 fingers and it will capture a screenshot. And you can even swipe up with 3 fingers and that will open the camera. And the camera is what we're going to get onto next, because I really like the camera on this $200 MediaTek smartphone. Okay, so the G3 has dual rear camera, and this is a real true dual rear camera. Remember guys, this is just under a $200 smartphone, MediaTek chip, and just have a look at the portrait here. There's none of that rubbish, terrible little circle in the middle with a blur around the edge. This does the job exactly as it's supposed to do. Separates the subject from the background. Background is blurred, and it does an absolute cracking job for a $200 smartphone, and I'm sure you'd agree. At the moment, I'm absolutely obsessed with the portrait mode on this smartphone at the moment, because I can't quite believe how good it is. But I think this is probably the first MediaTek smartphone that I've seen do this under $200 with real dual rear cameras. Overall, the camera is good. In low light conditions though, it does sort of fail there, unfortunately. Sometimes it can struggle to focus, and you do notice quite a little bit of noise and graininess sort of setting into the photos and videos. But it wins it over for me for the portrait mode and general usage of the camera in daylight. It's very good for the price. Very, very good. So have a look at the rest of these pictures and videos, guys, and you'll see what I mean. That's much better. No.
To do with this,
What are you doing?
The next thing to go missing was Bob's phone. I'll call the number on my phone, said Wendy.
We have snow today. Thought I'd test my camera while it's snowing. On the Nuu G3. Doesn't have no stabilisation on the smartphone, so it will be a little bit wobbly. It's got good autofocus and colours look quite accurate as well. Let's get into the garden. It's a winter wonderland, although it's spring. Snow, snow, snow. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and I hope you do agree with me on the camera quality. Overall, it is a good camera. The portrait mode is excellent. Real dual rear camera as well. Other features on the G3 also include fingerprint sensor, which is accurate and fairly quick. I've seen quicker, but it's no slouch. Also Face ID as well, face unlock. That works, but it is a little bit slower than the fingerprint, and obviously fingerprint is a little bit more secure. So look, we're on GPS now, guys, and good, strong signals, and accuracy is within 6 foot, which which is great. It really, really is a good, solid fix. And while navigating using Google Maps, Google Navigation, the G3 handled it really, really well. Didn't have any or come across any issues at all. So GPS connectivity is a plus point as well. Let's take another look at the HD Plus display on the G3. I did look at it briefly in the unboxing video, but just want to demonstrate again how good it is. It's only 720p, does support 60 frames per second as this is at the moment, and pinch zoom as well. It's a really nice display, guys. I think what you also got to keep in mind throughout this video is the $200 price tag, which obviously in the UK is around about £160 roughly. And £160, what you get is incredible, and I can't wait until they actually officially release the European UK version. Just showing you here, look, the curved edge very, very slightly, look, you can just make out there. Beautiful design. Yeah, really, really nice. So I'm going to do a speaker test now, guys. It's got one little speaker down here on this side. Normally the speaker's that side, but for some reason it's on this side on the G3. They do put two grills there. Obviously one of them's a dummy. It's a small speaker. It does go quite loud, but it does seem you sort of overloading the speaker when you do turn the volume right up. Quality could be better on the G3. I've definitely heard better speakers. It's a little bit thin and not that strong. Okay guys, so this about concludes the review on the G3. Let me just sort of wrap this up now. For me, this is the best budget smartphone of 2018 so far. I'm sure there'll be others that will rival this and maybe even beat this. It's just under $200. It's a MediaTek chip. It has NFC, 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of storage, an octa-core processor. It has real dual rear cameras, an absolutely stunning design, as you can see here. All the lights, the way they reflect off that glass and that gorgeous blue colour, and a really nice metal frame. It is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but you give it a little buff off here and it gets back to its best. I do love front and back glass smartphones, and it looks the part and it performs the part. The rear camera, for me, the dual rear camera in that portrait mode is excellent for a budget MediaTek smartphone. I'm sure most of you would agree. Yes, low light conditions do let that down a little bit, but for me, it's not a deal breaker. It's also got NFC, which you don't really see with phones under $200, so you can use Google Pay on there as well. I've got it installed and set up on the smartphone. For UK users, it is lacking band 20, but hopefully with the European version that's going to be released, the band 20 will be included, and then you should get 4G coverage throughout the whole of the UK. At the minute, I just get 4K in built up areas in towns and cities. But that's it, guys. I mean, everything is really, really nicely polished. Nice interface. It's clean, stock Android 7.1. You know, no real gimmicks. It is a solid performing smartphone. And for all the things you get for just under $200, it is the best. It's the best so far. So guys, any questions, please comment down below. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe. Also, if you do want to pre-order this smartphone, obviously in the US, you can do so. I've shown you the bands as well, what bands they're working on. So if you do want to try from other countries and stuff to purchase it, because it does work in the UK here, 4G coverage is limited at the moment now. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.